Hey everyone, in this version of Explore Django, we're going to be talking about how to install Django and setting up a virtual environment using Python 3. Um, I opened up the docs on the Django website and to see what they had to say about installing Django, and I was kind of surprised by all the information they have here that's not really relevant to how I start my Django projects. It seems like a lot of information isn't really good for beginners because it will probably like confuse you. Unless maybe you're using Windows. I don't know much about installing on Windows. It might be a little different. But on a Mac, like you don't need to install Apache or mod WSGI. I've never done that before. Using a database in the beginning, you should just use SQLite. Then you'll start getting into using other databases locally. But in the beginning, you should just be using SQLite. It's really, you don't have to install anything, and it's really easy to set up by default. So all this section 2 isn't really relevant if you're just starting and just want to get it up and running. Same thing with remove any old version of Django. If you're using a virtual environment, which you should be, you don't need to do this. Each environment will have its own version of Django, its own installs. Which if you're going to do anything with Django, you're going to need to use virtual environments. So best to learn it in the beginning because it's really, really easy. The next section is install Django code, which using pip. I believe Python 3 might come with pip. I'm not 100% sure on that. You might have to install pip. But I know when you do create a virtual environment with Python 3, it has pip in it. And you don't need to use virtual environment or virtual env wrapper. You don't have to use any of this if you're using Python 3, which there's really no reason to be using Python 2. A few years ago, there were some packages that weren't compatible with Python 3, but nowadays, pretty much everything is compatible with Python 3 in the Django world. And then, you can install a specific You can install a specific package, which is okay. But again, if you're just getting started, you're typically just going to install the latest version. You won't want to install the development version either. So a lot of this is irrelevant for someone just starting with Django, which is kind of weird that they would do it like this. But I'm going to teach you guys how to install Django really easily. So if you don't have it already, you need to go to python.org and get the latest Python 3 download. Downloads. Oops. This is just downloads Python 3, and then you might need to download pip 2. I don't try it without it first, but you can download pip as well, which is to install Python packages, right? So let's go ahead and install Django. Just a few lines of code will get us there. So if we look where I'm at, I'm in my Django folder. You can make a folder wherever you want. I have it under sites and then Django, and then these are all the projects I have. And then to create an environment, all you have to do is to pivem my environment and name. You can name whatever you want. These are all my different environment names right here. So I'm just going to do it my env name for now. And that's going to go ahead and create my environment. I can go into it. And here I have an environment which I need to activate. Source bin activate. There's an activate folder inside of here. And that's what activates it. And here's pip, so I don't think you need to install it. This is the last time I'm going to mention it, but it has pip here, so you can activate, and then you can do pip install whatever you want, right? And so we are going to install Django. You can do a specific version if you'd like by doing equal, and that's the same for all Python packages. But we are just going to install the latest stable version of Django, right? So here we go. We are going to go ahead and install Django now. After this is done installing, we are going to create our Django project, which again is just really simple. Django admin start project my proj name, and then you'll see that I have this my proj name folder here, which is where all of our Django code is going to be. So if we go into it, we can go ahead and migrate, and we're going to go ahead and run the server too. So migrate's going to create our SQLite database, and then we run it, and now we should have localhost here, right? And there it is, okay? So you might ask, if you're new to this, you might ask, why do we create a virtual environment? Because now you can see that we have this environment activated. To get out of this environment, we do deactivate. And if we try to run the server again, if we try to run server, it can't because we don't have our installations, right? Because imagine if, like, look at all of my projects here. If we look at all my projects, all these different projects are going to have different versions of Django, different packages, and we don't want to have to remove Django. We don't have to remove the packages for when we change projects, right? A lot easier is just to have virtual environments. So here I can go ahead and create a new environment and put Django, 1.8 or 1.9 or whatever. If you get code from someone else and you're working on a project that was created a while ago, it might have different versions. So that is why you create environments. And now, we can just go right back into it, and we can go source. Let's just take a look at what's in here. So use source, which is going to make your environment, and then remember in the bin folder there is an activate file. So we activate, you will see your environment there, and then if we go into our project, which is my project name, we can go ahead and start that, and that should run up. And there it is again, right? So that is how you create a new Django project with Python 3.